What is happening? Welcome back to the Inside the Process podcast. We are back, episode number 32. And as you can see, if you're on YouTube, or you will see by the title anyway on Spotify, we're joined by a very special guest, La
Right.
Baker, Mr. Jake Byers. How are we doing?
I'm doing very good, mate. How are you too? Thank you for having me on.
Well, mate, it's been a long time coming. I actually said to Brandon about this quite some time ago, but we hadn't got around to getting the message out because we just had so many podcast show reviews and stuff like that. But I am absolutely grand. And I was working a little shift earlier on, so I was trained off push off of one meal. But I'm currently right now at a spot where I'm happy with how full I am, and I'm just gonna I've voiced that to Josh and stuff just to kind of cruise into the show kind of baseline. I've kind of we've found a look that I'm happy with. I'm just kind of waiting on his response with that. But apart from that, mate, I'm grand. Brandon, you trained today in the heat. I narrowly avoided it this morning. I was training
Yes,
at like 7:30, 8 o'clock.
a very sweaty leg day. I was in Toulouse before we clicked recording before Jake joined. I literally almost like passed out during my leg session. I was literally lying on the bathroom floor, like very fucking close to. I actually saw Jesus, like he was right there. I put my hand out there. I woke up, but I'm only kidding. But yeah, it was actually like so warm in the gym. Like JP actually put a post up and it was like the hottest fucking gym he's been in. Like it was so
Yeah.
warm. Like, I don't know what it was because also like all the shutters were open and stuff. But it's like in there. It's either like so fucking cold or it's like so fucking warm. Like there's no in between in there.
Yeah, I know. I've actually debated like deploying hot stuff because my elbows feel awful when it's cold in there. Genuinely, it's been that
Yeah,
bad at times.
genuinely. But I love training when it's cold, like when you can like put a hoodie on, etc. I like training in hoodies and like joggies and stuff.
Yeah.
I made the mistake of training joggies today, but it was absolutely fucking brutal. But a good leg session nonetheless. Mr. Byers, where are you at in your process?
I'm what am I 7 months into gaining so far, sitting diet low, about 18 pounds up. I've kept this push up like relatively lean. I say relatively, actually. I'm pretty happy with body composition. It was like a new approach for me because obviously last push up was that's my only main push up really, and I got to a peak of 215. And realistically, with the amount of muscle I was holding in that first push up, there was no reason for me to be that heavy, other than the fact that you just have to get heavy in those first push ups. But then with a little change in approach, change in sort of not really mindset, but thought process and rationale behind things, I've just decided, staying lean, responsive, this push up is probably going to serve me the best. And then it also aligns with having easier future diets. Like pre-prep at the end of the year isn't going to be a tough diet at all, coming from a leaner start point. Body's going to be more responsive to food drops, and then I'll probably push condition further that in the pre-prep than I did last diet. So I'm going to have plenty of room to get food high in between, finish the pre-prep, starting prep, and then that means a good prep start point and hopefully a smooth sailing prep.
Yeah, I think that's going to be really exciting to see when you get really fucking lean in your pre-prep. And as you say, it's going to set you up to give you that nice fucking runway for prep. However, obviously, a lot of the questions, a lot of the eyes is on yourself, and you may in a way feel a little bit of pressure, as we kind of spoke about it with regards to the on the Lifestyle Loops podcast about being like self-coached heading into the prep, and obviously it being your first prep as well. But we know we see it can be done. It's not far fetched to assume that it can be done as far as it goes for someone like yourself who can be so objective with your process. I think you do stand a really good chance of being like super fucking on your shit when it comes to self coaching. But I kind of wanted to say, like, if you think if you think of anything that's going to hold you back, if anything, what made that potentially be when it comes to making your own decision, calling your own shots, rather in a prep setting.
I mean, if anything's to go wrong as a result of self coaching in the prep, it'll be the Finn Kelly protocol. I'll run myself into a hole, and I think more often than not, you hear sort of examples of people giving themselves like weekly refeeds when it's not needed, but I feel like it's more the opposite way, and it should be the opposite way of you'd rather run yourself into a hole than actually not get into condition. 'Cause at least you step in on stage conditioned. You have people's respect. Yeah, you might have upheld training performance, but if you're going on the stage soft, no one really gives a fuck. So I think it's going to be key to be objective and be like, okay, yes, 3 weeks out from this show, I could maybe squeeze out a few more glute lines, but is that going to be to the detriment of the entire physique? Is that going to be to the detriment of training? It's just being smart. And, you do hear examples of people running themselves into the ground. Even the most successful self-coaching examples in recent times. We had AJ last season. He said his first show, his Two Bros show, was probably his favourite look, probably his fullest, most muscular look. I think maybe it wasn't. No, it was the Heart of England. The Two Bros was the most conditioned, he said, because he ran himself into the hole. But he said the UKDFBA Heart of England, when he won the overall, was his favourite look because he wasn't chasing condition. Same with Elliot, won a WNBF pro card, but said that he didn't need to push condition anymore after the first show, and that's what he done. So that is my goal, to avoid doing that. It's all well and good saying that, but it's definitely easier said than done. When I maybe after the first show, when I see I can be a little more dialed in, that's when the extra cardio session goes in, the extra 25 grams of carb gets pulled, and then biofeedback starts going to shit, but you ignore it because it's just straight beeline for condition.
It definitely can get like that, especially when you are lean and you see like it's literally every 0.2 of a kilo, every 0.1 of a kilo comes with a new sort of look to the physique, and it's addictive. Like we all know this, it's super fucking addictive. However, I think like the further and further you get into prep and stuff like that, and I've even noticed this myself sometimes, and I have to take a step back as well when I'm saying to Josh about like how I'm feeling and stuff. I know at the back of my head what I'm feeding to him is ultimately determining some way or another how much food I'm getting as well. Like, and I able to stay super objective even with a coach at times is difficult. But I do think obviously with how objective you are within your own process, and now I think that'll be. I'm really fucking excited to see it.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Excited
I mean,
to do it.
I can relate to a lot of things you mentioned there, like in my own prep. Like, even though I wasn't self-coached, like I still, ran myself into the ground with a coach by my side. Obviously, yes, prep line played a massive role in that as well. But again, what you were saying there with like the first look of the season, like I can relate to that as well. But I actually, like, looking back, like that was generally one of my favorite looks of the season, was that PC 93. Yes, I came in a decent bit leaner from other shows, but I was again pretty much like the same body weight as well. And as you were saying there, as you get deeper into prep, I think that this scale weight actually becomes almost less kind of important in a sense. Like you can literally sit at the same body, like at for example 63 kg I was for literally months and months and months, as you get leaner and leaner and leaner there as well. But again, as you were kind of saying there, Lewis, like the feedback you give to your coach is so important, because again, there was times where I generally was like so fucked, but because it was kind of my first time experiencing that, I was kind of just like cracking on in a sense. I wasn't trying to kind of not sound like a pussy, because I didn't really care about that, but just trying to almost just ignore it and not kind of speak it into existence. And that came to my detriment in the prep. But I think for yourself as well, like with having you literally have 2 diets under your belt, experience wise, pre-prep you'll be getting into relatively good condition as well, which would be good like experience for you to gain as well. Obviously you took to client diets as well, of course, the amount of knowledge you have as well. But obviously I think as you kind of learnt from, as like people you mentioned, like Elliot, AJ, AJ said as well, like even just having like a second eye in your process, and of course you've got a very good circle around you to have many good top level coaches in a sense, to have a good second eye. I think it will be pretty exciting. The pre-prep diet as well is always very fucking exciting, especially Leo's pre-prep's coming up as well, or he's actually started that now.
Your pre-prep changed your life. That's
it did. Honestly, it did, because
I mean, it's good for all the custards boys,
it generally does, because, well, first of all, that is like your prep starting in a sense, and that is the first fat loss phase of prep. But it does show like your potential, because like your physique just comes to life so much more, especially of course a natural bodybuilder, but any fucking bodybuilder, enhancer or natural, like your physique comes to life. It puts a lot of confidence in you as well. Some people ego as well, you know what I'm saying? Pre-prep diets. But yeah, it's a very exciting time, and it kind of shows you as well. It can actually show you as well maybe how much more or weaker and stronger certain body parts are when you pull a bit of body fat off, of course.
Yeah.
Did you find that as well in your last diet?
Mate, to be honest, I thought I was 215 pounds, and I was looking at my legs full as a house post-workout, and I'm being like, fuck, I'm going to have a good set of quads. And maybe I lost a bit of quad tissue with how high expenditure got, how low food got, but it definitely was a large part just body fat, and I didn't realize that. I thought I would have more quad tissue specifically than was reality when I actually got lean. But then other parts, as you said, you realize you have weak and strong body parts, like hitting a front lat from peak body weight to maybe within 10 pounds away from my lowest. I was like, front lat isn't a great shot. Then last 10 pounds come off, waist comes in, you look so much wider through your lats, through your delts, and it's like, fuck, I've actually got decent shape in this front lat. And even aside from just body parts, it is these entire shots that
Yeah.
come to life, and they change whether you're holding more body fat or less body fat, just through detail and shape fading.
Yeah, I think the value of the pre-prep really does hold merit, and I think like if let's say for example like you're working with a client for a long time, you would really want to schedule in some sort of pre-prep, because let's be honest, if someone hops on in the near prep, and you might not always get that opportunity to put a pre-prep in. However, I do think obviously for the benefits that you just spoke about there, but also the kind of like that is the flip when when the switch flips. Ultimately, realistically, like that's prep starting. Like everything you do in that point, it's not like a drastic change from just off season straight to prep. It's that kind of gradual push, and I think that's it. Almost takes away that shock to the system. Almost, I think when it comes to transition, I think it's super important.
Yeah, for sure. And like that just goes with any diet. Like actually, recent example, your client Josh Waters. I know he talks about this a lot. As like he was ticking the boxes out of the gaining phase, but when he's
Yeah,
came into the diet now, it's just like his routine's just got a little bit better. He's been a little bit more on his shit. You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? It can just give you that kick up the
You
arse,
just
which again
become
is
more efficient, mate. Like you know
you do,
yourself,
mate.
like
You do.
the prep sort of, not even like a prep, but just like that diet sort of efficiency where you're mentally just fucking,
Yeah, yeah.
mate. Like obviously
You-
at the back end of a prep, that's not a thing, but
We were talking about body parts changing in a diet, and his quads. I didn't think
yeah,
he would have
Yeah.
quads like that. That's a prime
yeah,
example.
yeah. To be fair, like he's always had like I've always thought like his quads will be like a strong point just from like the shape of them and stuff, and just like the the to the high standard that he does train them to like the highest standard, and I've always made sure that his leg work is obviously fucking really on point. So like his physique has came to life a lot when it's obviously been dieting down. It shows off the shape, and it does obviously show off those weaker muscle groups, and it's just like, all right, okay, place more volume onto the upper body, place more frequency across that, and that's kind of what we're looking at when we're kind of like reversing out, if you like, of this current diet phase, which is ultimately pre-prep. If we do decide to obviously go ahead and prep in 2027, but it'll be super exciting, and I'm excited to bring my own athlete to stage. I think that's like it holds so much responsibility, but it's exciting. It is exciting.
What was that feeling like for you, Brandon?
Having their first client on stage,
Yeah.
mate. I think Lewis was there, but I was literally peeking Connor. Like, so he was on stage the same day as Lewis on stage, and like, see that initial reaction when he sent me
You're
the
so
stage
like
shots.
giddy.
I was, mate, like the whole peak week experience was so fucking cool. Like, obviously him checking in quite literally multiple times a day from like pretty much 7 days out. It was so cool seeing everything come to life, the changes being made, how quick a body can change as well. Literally just dropping off fatigue, like, again, keeping it simple. It was really fucking like, it was really just like fulfilling in a sense. And again, I was very happy with the look on stage. I think it was very good. Again, Connor came to me like 3-4 weeks before, so it was kind of like short notice. You know, he hadn't been in prep for a while. So obviously, the next clients I have next year, I've got quite a few clients on stage next year, which is pretty exciting. Obviously, have worked for them for quite a while, which is exciting too, and I'm excited for that. But yeah, it gave me a taste of prep coaching in a sense, and it was just an amazing feeling. I was literally like screaming like a little girl outside the fucking PCA venue, just like so fucking buzzing all of the look they landed on stage, which is pretty cool. But do you have any Lewis? Do you have any people doing the BNBF Scottish next year?
BNBF Scottish next year, 2027. I don't. I've just got
How's
Josh going 2027 and Louis obviously training out of the gym dock now.
Oh, has he moved? Has
Yeah,
he
yeah,
moved?
he's moving. He's moved because he said to me, I didn't know that he was driving, and he said to me, he was like, "Oh, I've got like week pass here. It's like a 30-40 minute drive." I was like, "Mate," I was like, "You will enjoy making that."
Yeah.
And he took the week pass, and before you know it, we've got a fucking new training schedule
New
in
program.
at the gym dot. But yeah, that's pretty cool. I think he's going to go 2028, but probably not the BNBF Scottish. But I think it would be cool to bring someone to the BNBF Scottish, obviously, because it's like our home show as well. Like
yeah,
even if I'm not competing at it, it'd be cool. I think there's probably more of a likelihood of me taking someone to that stage before I actually go on it. But
yeah.
it's I don't actually. You might have someone soon on the BNBS Scottish. You want to keep that?
I might have people compete next year at the PCA Scotland and the BNBF Scottish. So the PCA Scotland's like earlier in the year. That's like one of the first shows.
Yeah.
I've got a client in pre-prep right now, which is pretty exciting. It was a diet, now it's turned into a pre-prep diet. So he might be doing
Gotta love that.
he might be doing the PCA Scotland and then the PCA first timers as well, because it's the week after each other, which lines up perfectly. That's like one of the first shows of the season as well, and it kind of lines up to literally where we're dieting right now, which is pretty cool. And then I've got Leo doing the BNBF Scottish next year, which is pretty exciting. He'll be in teens.
As a teen, yeah, mate. He's really good. And he's came on.
He was really good, mate.
Mate, to see that, like, brought up his quad specifically, like.
Yeah, so much. That was like the main goal. But like the thing is with him, mate, he's literally eating like almost like 700 grams of carbs, and he's still so fucking lean. Like, I literally add food. And he just looks leaner, mate. Like he's just an alien. I literally say to him every week, mate, like I literally open his shots. Like, you know, when you open a check-in, you just laugh. Like that's literally every single week with Leo, mate. I just open a check-in, I just fucking laugh, mate. So he's in a great spot as well. He's just like, it kind of reminds me of like kind of, you know, like me and Lewis. Obviously, I didn't train with you in person, but like in our off season where we're just going in, we're just fucking loving the training. We're just getting stronger. We're touching new numbers every single week. That's like kind of part of the process where he's at, and I'm just like reminding him to just fucking enjoy it, mate. Because again, it's like any phase you're in, take the advantages from that phase. Is kind of what I like to say to clients as well. Because also there's going to be things where you're going to be, when you're a diet, you miss a lot of things. The gaining phase, when you're in a gaining phase, you miss a lot of things, the diet, etc. But just look at the positives, enjoy the things, because again, both scenarios, there's so much positives and enjoyment factors in a sense to take from it there.
Yeah, 100%. What is Finley's competitive plans, Jake?
I was
28. We need to grow a lower body on the lad.
Yeah.
But mate, when we done that little pullback, you know, Brandon, you said about like opening shots and just laughing, mate, how dry he got through the upper body, it was fucking immense. And then you'd give him high days and you'd see the physique really come to life, and it's like, fuck, we could literally do 2027 if your legs weren't so far behind. But you know, that's just the way your cards are dealt. He has a really nice upper body, you know, shape, delts are mega, chest is mega, and he gets that sort of dry look, which is one of these things that's, it's not really tangible to anyone like muscularity is. It's like you either get this nice dry look or you don't. So it's he's got that
kind of almost thin, like kind of
it's like fucking sandpaper or something through the upper body, and it's like, well, there's a positive. You got that. Not many people are going to be bringing that dryness to stage. But, you know, you've got dealt shit genetics with your legs. So let's just pound away at these. And he's also in no rush. Like, I done a podcast with him, and he was he had no sort of aspirations to compete whatsoever. He was literally training in JPs with yous competing around him. He had that environment, and it still wasn't there for him because the training is his, you know, passion. It's his driving factor for the process. So, mate, he was in a grail of 2028. He didn't actually want to push it any further or any sooner. Yeah, no, it'll be good to see that as well, because as you say, like, he's someone who's built up that love for just doing the do, and then, you know, from there decides to go, you know, take it that little bit further. And that's the way it fucking should be, man. Like, that's one thing that I think, you know, everyone says there's many ways to skin a cat. That's the one thing that should be set in stone. It's like, you should love the process for the process and the training, not loving the end result or the idea of stepping on stage. Finley does it right. Yeah, I think like it's so easy to get yourself in like a fucking rut if you just love the competing aspect of it, because it's literally, as much as it is competing, as much as it is down to you, in the same sense, it's really fucking not, because it's down to who else turns up. Like that's the bottom line. It's who else actually turns up on the day. But like you say, that is I think the penultimate way to kind of go about things. But yeah. Do you want to crack on with some questions? You want to?
Yeah, sure. Actually, before I get into that, I was gonna say, like, Finley has come up a lot as well, and he's one of those persons in the gym. Like, I love chatting to the gym. He's just a person who, like, the passion is just fucking oozing out of him.
Mate, this is why I love getting sessions in with him, because it's like he just fucking wants to be in the gym and train.
Yep. And when you're just chatting, you just like, the conversation is fucking flowing. Like, even just watching him, he sets again, his leg training is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
One thing as well, like, you know, when you see someone on Instagram, you can also see their physique and how good they are. But when, like, for example, I posed next to Finlay as well, which kind of showed me like actually how fucking good he was, which is pretty cool as well. And he did look really good there. I'm pretty excited to see his 2020 season, which will be nice. But first question that I've got is, what first got Jake into B?
So I like from no age, I thought lifting weights was fucking awesome. Like, when Warzone first came out, I remember looting a house in Warzone and seeing there was a bench and a barbell, and I was like, "Fuck, that's really cool." But even from no age, I was asking for like weight sets and what age can you join the gym? Oh, you have to be 16. And I was like, "Fuck, right, well, wait to 16." So got into the gym late 2021, and started lifting, immediately started deadlifting actually, which it sort of ties in, a strong deadlifter now. Does that mean anything? But yeah, started deadlifting, and initially was like so engulfed in progress and numbers and just deadlifting like maybe 2-3 times a week, but adding 5 kilo every time and recording that on Snapchat and like posting it to my story or whatever. And then I was like, with me, it's always trying to take things to the next level. So I was like, fuck, I really enjoy this. I'm going to start doing squat, bench, deadlift. Let's maybe look at the powerlifting route. And I was training like that for a little while, running my small off split of 4 times a week benching so I could hit 100 kg bench. But I was always just too chicken shit to enter a powerlifting meet, because I always said, if one of my mates does it with me, I'll do it, but never came around. And then I stumbled across a Reese Fit leg press video. So we'll not dwell on that too much, but that is what got me into the UK bodybuilding scene. And then found Josh Campbell, the man himself. He was balls deep in prep, making whey paste and fucking Cocoa Pops, and I followed him, and mate, every chance I had, I was going through Instagram, like scrolling through training clips and stuff like that. So it's a large part down to him. He really got me into it. And from that powerlifting sort of background, I seen these videos and I was like, right, well, I'm not that strong, so maybe I start trying to look good. And yeah, that got me into it. I was just sort of I've used the word engulfed already, but I was totally engulfed in it from like day one. I thought, this is what I want to do. Even coaching from a very early on like time point, I was like, wow, prep coaching would be fucking awesome. And I've always sort of looked at that like more scientific or like a serious approach to stuff rather than just lifestyle and looking good.
Yeah. Do you think I was going to actually ask something about Josh there, and actually fucking it just escaped me. That's the point of prep that I'm at now. You want to take the reins, Brandon, while I try and
Yeah.
fucking rejig
I
myself?
think we actually had a very similar sort of timeline, because I started training late
Definitely
2021.
do. Yeah.
And I started following Josh when he was balls deep into prep as well. And that's again what introduced me to bodybuilding, which I actually never even like kind of realised I thought about, which is pretty cool to think about, kind of how, come full circle. We're all in the Cussers group chat, all friends now.
That's what I was going to say.
I mean,
I was going to say, because you found Josh Campbell, is that how you've kind of ended up like in this? Because you were in this group before I was. Like,
well, yeah, I was OG Custards, but it was actually the turning point, or the main sort of thing, was signing up with Noah. So I was working in a pizza shop, mate. I was getting $5 an hour, and then I think I got put up to $7.50 an hour, and I thought I was fucking rich. But I was like, okay, well, most of the people in this sport, have a coach, because that they know what they're doing. They just get told what to do. So I was like, Noah Campbell, a winter offer, 12-week coaching plan. Get me on that. So yeah, nailed a diet with Noah, nailed a reversal with Noah, and really just sort of bodybuilding took over everything. And I guess after that, I obviously couldn't continue with Noah, unfortunately. But dear knows where I'd be now. That would have been very interesting to look back on if I'd stayed with him, but financially wasn't able to support coaching. But yeah, after that, I think we just remained friendly, and then we sort of got into the Custard Circle, and then August 2024 was when I done my first trip over to Glasgow to see them.
yeah, I kind of briefly remember that. I think seeing you, because you got a photo in the Nautilus leverage press.
Oh yeah, Noah loved taking the piss out of that one, because
Yeah.
he used it for every infographic for about 6 months.
Yeah, because I remember seeing, I was like, oh, there's that Irish guy. Like, because I wasn't even coached by Josh at that point. Like, I hadn't even like started bodybuilding.
You hadn't started the countdown of when you're gonna start coaching.
Oh yeah, I hadn't started that. Jesus, we've all done some pretty fucking terrible things, haven't we?
classic.
Yeah, absolute classic. But
Big
yeah,
announcement.
Yeah, that I remember like seeing yous as a group and thinking, fuck, like that's cool that the little circle that they've got going on, and then fuck, lo and behold, like a few months later, I'm in that circle. It's
Mhm.
fucking, it's
Yeah.
crazy how time just passes and things evolve. I'll pull up a little question at the moment as
Then
well. I got
6 months later, we were sitting in Copenhagen in an Airbnb.
What a trip that was.
Memories.
I
So,
wasn't engulfed in custards at that point.
so see, before you went on board with Noah, were you already thinking about coaching, or was that the kind of like first kind of foot into the coaching scene where it kind of sparked that interest for you?
I thought it was a really cool thing, and then I thought, also signing up with Noah, a lot of people were saying at this point, to be a coach, you should be working with a coach and learn from a coach. So I was like, this is the perfect opportunity. And then seeing the process of like how a coach executes, like actually coaching someone through Google Sheets, WhatsApp, training clips, communication, weekly check-ins, that was like, okay, so this is how it's ran. And then I sort of basing things around that, and how do I refine my coaching service? Is there anything I could change from this setup and make it better potentially?
Nice.
Yeah.
So you've obviously been coached by Noah and then Reese as well. Do you think
Reese.
there's merit to being coached by multiple people? Did you learn maybe different approaches, different things that you maybe use now for your clients, or you learned a lot from? Or do you think there's even more merit to staying on board with one coach and them kind of learning you? What's your thoughts there?
I think, well, I worked with both of them for 12 weeks, and I definitely, Noah, in all fairness, couldn't teach me the depths of bodybuilding because I was only getting into it. I remember asking him on a check-in, what's the difference between classic and bodybuilding and men's physique? That's how sort of new I was to the entire space. Then Reese, I learned, to be fair to him, I learned how to take my training to not the next level of intensity, but chasing progression with load and stuff. So for that reason, I do definitely think there's merit to go into multiple coaches, but not anyone. People you still deem the like sort of knowledgeable in their field that you'd also get on with. You don't want to go to somebody that you think's an absolute prick online. But get different sort of opinions, different approaches from different coaches, but don't do the 12 weeks with them. Just spend 6 months with a coach, and if you're enjoying it, extend that, and then maybe find somewhere else. Don't dip with a coach or join up with a coach, dip straight away, because you're not actually going to learn their full approaches. Finley's probably still learning things from me, and we're working a year together. So I think there's always more to pick up from a coach.
Yeah,
I definitely agree.
that's spot on, mate. Absolutely spot on. There's always kind of more that can be taught, and through all the different phases and the intricacies of each phase, you will learn more. And as you say, like if you just hop from coach to coach, it's the same way as like changing split every other fucking week. It's not going to yield any fucking result in any way, shape, or form. I've got a food
Why are you smiling? For
I've
fuck's
got a
sake.
food question.
You just knew it was going to happen.
Mason Fitness. Now, this is a question that I'm not too sure about. I might need to ask Ellie. Go-to cut of steak.
Cut of steak.
Yeah.
That's that's not even food focus. That's
Is this
fine
like
dining.
is this like ribeye versus
T-bone, ribeye, sirloin, flank. Fucking.
what do you get,
Fillet.
Ellie? Flat iron. What's that? Is that like shite?
I don't know what that one is actually.
I
I
have no clue. I literally
had
have
a
no clue.
tomahawk
Alright.
steak a few months ago, and it was unbelievable. But like a tomahawk or a T-bone, because when it's on the bone, you're getting more flavor for sure. So I'd say one of those two. Not many places do a tomahawk, so probably T-bone.
I've never had a steak on the bone.
I thought you were going to say you've never had a steak, and I was going to be.
Nah, I've had a steak.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever had a steak at a restaurant. Have I?
Mate, custards. We need to go out for a fucking fancy
We
meal.
do. That would be good. Actually.
Yeah,
That'd be really good.
the next time we'll actually get like a proper nice meal. We'll get a fancy meal Saturday coming.
Oh, we will.
Yeah,
We
Nah,
will.
2 weeks. 2 weeks when we're down south for the Turbo show.
Yeah.
Right enough. Will
Right
we all
enough.
get a meal?
I'm
Yeah.
down. Oh, listen. We'll say that, and then Jake will be like, "Oh, what a Five Guys."
Five Guys and Ben and Jerry's in trace food for
No,
the rest of the week.
No, like I am a fiend for Five Guys. Like, but if someone's saying, you know, let's go for a nice feed here, I'll
Yeah,
go
yeah.
for
No,
that.
Yeah,
listen,
get dressed up and then go out.
I was
Yep.
going to say, yep, everyone get dressed up because, listen, on these trips, I just bring gasp and then we want to go out and then I'm just fucking, no,
And
actually,
then get on the
Lewis, sorry.
fucking piss.
Lewis last time fucking go the night out, he's fucking gas
I had
clobber
a
on that.
Mate,
actual gas
You
shit.
cannot talk because what was your clobber for Copenhagen? Mate,
Me?
you only brought gasp. I have a photo.
That is not true. That is not true.
Here we go.
That
He's
is
gonna
not true.
for the Spotify listeners switch
Listen,
over for a little
If
second.
I was,
Look at me. Nice
that's
clobber.
not gas. That is not gas.
That's like
that-
explosive fibers and a North Face coat.
That is Cortez joggies with hot, what do you call that top? Fucking Heartless Love, mate. That's a Broken Planet. That's designer.
Load of
mate.
shite, man. XL
That's designer.
fibers.
Yeah, I was wearing joggies one day. Jeez, oh, chill out.
Right, so that's how we've ended up from go to cut of steak. Zach Hates Jim asked, rate my school breakfast, cheese on toast, goated, paired with a cup of tea and some chocolate biscuits. Right, what are the biscuits? Are we going Bobbins? Because if you're Bobbins, I rate that.
Just a
Bobbins.
chocolate
Wait.
digestive, man. That was my supper for all of primary school. Like
Did you ever
12 chocolate
try-
digestives. Cup of
Have you
tea.
ever tried digestives like leathered in butter?
No, I've tried.
Never even heard of that.
So good,
I've
mate.
tried like what do you call the plain biscuits? Not rich teas, but like a plain digestive
Yeah,
with
yeah,
butter.
yeah.
Like, that's unbelievable.
Yeah, no, they are pretty good here.
Cheese on toast though, I don't really rate. I was never a big cheese guy.
Nah, like
Cheese.
a cheese toasty, mate. Melted the cheese on top. That is
Never done
Yeah.
it for me.
goated.
Ham and cheese toasty, mate, with like put in some like peppers
Nah.
or chilies in it.
On like the George Foreman grill. Now you're talking. Now
Mate,
you're
you were talking about how good beans were on Beyond the Process, and I used to get
Yes.
bean toasties at home. Mate, they
Bean-
were incredible.
That sounds good actually. But it's always like kind of pour out though. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but then you just held it up and then ate it. You
Yeah.
had to be careful with
Like a little bean pocket.
it.
A bean pocket. The interesting choice of words there, bean pocket.
What other kind of pocket?
Will Rabbit asked, only sweet or savoury or plans for the rest of your life? Savoury. Savoury.
I'm a desserts guy to be honest.
Yeah, yeah.
Really?
No,
No, bro,
sucker
listen,
for
pizza
dessert.
pasta, come on.
Yeah,
I-
no, I still would pick savoury,
pasta
but I'll
garlic
I have a
admit,
crazy sweet tooth, but mate, only sweet off plans. Like you're not only ever
Yeah.
going dessert. Like
Yeah, nah, I agree with that. I think that's straight down the savoury one. Now, this one's a one that it's a question I quite like actually. It gets asked quite a lot, and I think my opinion on it changes depending on what phase I'm in. One, it's just food questions. You're bringing a lot.
Well, no, listen.
you're
You
bringing a
asked for
lot.
the food questions. You literally asked for the food questions in your story.
Yeah, no, because Jake comes
Thank
from
you,
the
Brandon,
food podcast.
thank you.
Jake comes from the food podcast.
food podcast.
Food podcast.
So, one protein, carb, and fat source for the rest of your life. What are you choosing?
They asked this on Peaking It Real, another podcast.
Can you heat up my chicken and rice at 7 o'clock? Bring it up with the smallest spoon you can find. Come on.
Smallest spoon you can.
Yeah.
I've already had to think about this recently, and I think I'm going prawns. Oh wait, prawns is a cert. That's my protein. Carbs. Can we do like rice includes rice-based things like jasmine rice and cream of rice and rice pudding?
It's different, and
Nah,
like
it's different. It's different.
It's different.
same,
It is
same, but
different.
different in it.
Honestly, I think I would go prawns, sweet potato, mac oil then,
That's good.
Mm.
That's good.
because I'm making sure to tick off my
I think-
micronutrients.
I would go.
If
Way
money wasn't
I
an
would-
issue, I'll preface this: if money wasn't an issue,
I would pick jasmine rice just because I know if I had 4 or 5 meals of cream and rice, it would not digest nearly as well as jasmine rice. So I'm gonna go
Yeah.
with jasmine rice, and then I'm gonna go.
Not sushi.
I've actually been doing the jasmine rice
Mm.
this off season. I've been enjoying it, so I've been sticking with it, and it's a bit cheaper as well. So we'll go with jasmine rice. Then I'll go with 5% steak mince.
yeah.
Has to be 5. Yeah.
Has to be 5, and then I'll go with because it has to go in this meal, so I'll probably go peanut butter as well.
But you're recently just onto the nut butters. Do you know what nut butter I
Um,
really like? I like hazelnut. I like hazelnut butter.
Mate, get the coconut almond butter, Brandon.
Yeah,
I
you
don't
were
like-
saying
and
about
it's
all
that-
the wood.
Does it taste coconut though? Like,
Yeah,
tastes
it's very
coconutty.
coconutty.
Yeah, I don't like
I
coconut.
think I'd love that, mate. Like, do you know what I actually ran for quite a while until like I shat myself a couple of times after it, so I just pulled it completely out. I would run dark chocolate and I put my dark chocolate in with hazelnut butter and just mixed it up, mate. It's just shite Nutella. It just literally is shite Nutella.
Hazelnut butter is spanny though, is it not?
I got like the little jars from Holland and Barrett. I just I get like a discount at Holland and Barrett because I work up at the Fort, so it's like a 10% discount or something.
Wait, do you get a discount in all the shops at Fort? For the
Some
Fort?
of the stores do full discount, some don't. But see the ones that don't do full discount, I ask them, do they do student discount? Then I
You
show
just
them
steal it.
I show them my Glasgow Uni email from 2024, and then they give me that. But yeah, for my protein, carb, and fat source, I think honestly I don't have salmon, and I have not had salmon since 2024. But it probably would be salmon. It's so good.
Yeah, I had
What?
that same sort of thought process in my diet. I was like, I've never had smoked salmon, but I think
I
I'm
did
gonna
the
add
exact
smoked
same thing.
salmon, sourdough, and eggs in my push-up.
Yeah, mate. Salmon. I think like when salmon is cooked to perfection, you literally don't even need a knife. You just run your fork through it, and it just falls to pieces. Absolutely beautiful. For carbohydrates, I don't think you can beat like freshly baked sourdough from like the bakers.
Oh, yeah, that's
And it's thinly sliced as well, so you can get more bang for your buck.
I actually got more sourdough added to my meal plan this morning, which was lovely.
How much are you sitting at now in your meal?
Sourdough?
Yeah. And your
Nah,
one meal.
only 150.
150. Bro, I had 250 the other day in a meal.
Cheesy peeps. I think the max I've gone is 200. I'm not going above 200. Just 200 is like 4 slices, mate. 250 is like 5 fucking slices. That's a fucking buffet, mate.
Yeah, but you still feel like you've eaten nothing though with
That's true.
sourdough.
Exactly. You just soak up everything. For a fat sauce,
Mate, you've already got fats and salmon. No way you're pushing
true.
food high. Your gastric emptying is going to be like a fucking slug.
I got up to like 95 grams of fat on my rest days in the push-up.
Jesus Christ.
But for like a soul fat sauce, like let's just say it'd be dark chocolate or some form of cheese. Some form.
Oh, mate, what's your like? Mate, I used to go with the raw cheese when I was first getting into healthy eating, like Parmigiano Reggiano or Grana Padano.
I'm a big fan of Parmigiano, to be fair. I do think like it depends what you're having it with though, because if you're just, because you get like the freaks that just eat it like in the little blocks, I'm just like, that's disgusting. That is disgusting. However, I do think that Parmigiano is really nice on top of like beef and stuff like that. But yeah, I've got this. This is a good question as well, actually. One pose you think should be or you wish was a man. I'll start this off. The Sue.
The Sue. I like that show off condition.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
I think it's sort of similar to the Sue, but the erector transition that I
read that question earlier on when I was at work, and I thought you were going to say that.
Yeah.
So that's what we would say. That all the kind of transitions, I do think they hold a lot of merit. Another food question, Finley Thornton. Best off plan question mark specifically full stop. It's an Italian, like it is.
I agree.
It's pizza pasta. Like I don't get me wrong, I do like a curry, and I've not really indulged much in Indian off plans. When it
I had my
comes
first
to, like,
Indian
garlic naan breads, or like
you're missing it. Garlic naan's not the way. A
Turkish is really good.
Never had one.
Mate,
the best food I've ever tasted was Indian food.
We'll go Turkish down south.
Yeah, I will. I've
Because you can get like a mixed grill. It's practically there's like no carbs until we order like the 5 sides.
Actually, I want to go to a sushi place, mate. Because I went to one sushi place and it was fucking amazing. I loved it.
Sushi's good. Sushi's good. I'd be down for that. And you can get we were talking about a nice meal. You can get a very nice Japanese sushi restaurant.
Japanese theme.
I tried to pop up to like Dara McNamara and be like, "Where's the best sushi in Rotherham, bro?"
Is that where the show is? Rotherham.
Yeah.
Is that the same venue as the MBW?
Yep.
That's a fucking sick venue.
That'll be good, mate. I actually can't.
But don't worry, Two Bros will fuck it up somehow.
I've never been to a Two Bros show.
The lighting's going to be mega. The lighting at the Glasgow Two Bros show, genuinely, you could go down an alleyway. Go down an alleyway on a Saturday night and the lighting would be fucking better. Genuinely, that was
like that is someone's job. Like, they had been hired to do the lighting. Like, how have they done that shit of a job?
Yeah, that's.
What was the worst lighting in any of your shows, Brandon?
Good question.
Because, mate, I'd be so annoyed because these shows aren't expensive. Flashback to Lewis's natural bodybuilding is expensive. But you're paying for stage shots and the media package and light and shit. You're like, what?
Yeah, mate.
Honestly, I would say
you never got stuffed up, though.
Yeah, all the lighting was really good, but I would say the worst would probably be the MBW.
Really?
And that was still really good.
Yeah, that was
still really good. But again, it's like different lightings can be almost like favourable to different people, if that makes sense. Do you know what I mean? Like when you look at shots, like it's just different. Like it's not better or worse. It's just different. You know?
Yeah, 100%. I think for your best show, honestly, I think the BNBF Scottish lighting was really good for you, but I think also your tan at the BNBF Scottish was the best that it was. So again, what's actually better?
But
Who
it
knows?
was the best in comparison to the people I stepped on stage with. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah,
it was
exactly. Like
because the BMF Scottish, you have to apply it yourself. And I just obviously I got Josh to do it as well.
yeah,
That was a
yeah.
fucking experience, by the way. Sitting in Josh's living room, his fucking whole family, and I'm just literally in a cocktail getting tan by him.
Yeah.
That was
I actually like
This is bodybuilding.
that's one of my
Yeah.
favorite things about bodybuilding. Actually, like like when
That's it. Well, just being a cocktail and just
being mate, you've been in there being
No, this guy, he like any opportunity to just sit in a cocksock, he will take. Like honestly, it's the weirdest shit ever.
Mate, I was standing outside Josh's. This is hilarious. I was standing outside Josh's at the UKDFB. I was standing outside his bathroom in the morning. I was ball naked, holding my balls, like and he turned out. He came out of his, and Ellie was standing right next to me, and he came out as well, and he was doing the same fucking thing.
Do you not get cold at this condition?
Mate, see, to be honest, I got really cold in pre-prep, but not here. Like,
Mate,
really,
I'm the
mate.
polar opposite. As soon as I've got detail across like my whole physique, mate, I'm fucking freezing.
That's
all
the way I
time.
was in pre-prep though. So I was genuinely scared for how cold I was going to be, especially like working in like a warehouse.
I think
I
that's
was
the
like,
worst part of dieting for me. Being
Yeah.
so
Really?
cold. Being yeah.
No, to be fair, prepping in winter is the worst thing ever. Like, see, when I came out the shower, like I actually came out the shower, I was literally shivering. But like, I
Yeah.
was like, it actually hurt. That's how fucking cold it was. That was terrible. But I actually like dieting through summer when it's like hot and you
Yeah,
kind of like.
it does
I'm
make
saying.
it that bit better, and like even for little things as well. Like I go outside to take my check-in shots, and don't get me wrong, I've been there before. I've been outside and it's been bucketing down, but I've not really this prep, to be honest. There's a few times where it's been raining and stuff, but I would much rather prep through summer. But unfortunately, the shows at the back end of the year are just the kind of better ones, to be honest. I've got one more question, and I don't think it applies to me because I'm going to really say that I've never tried cream of rice. I have, but I've fucked it up to the point where it was more so like a Rowentree's jelly rather than fucking cream of rice. So Finlay Leddingham, by the way, cream of rice eating challenge. Most amount of cream of rice you could eat in one sitting, and you pick the water volume.
You pick the
Ooh.
water volume.
The water volume I would go for like what's like the minimum you could do? Maybe like a 1-to-1. Could you do lower than that? No, actually,
you
that is a lie. Actually, before WNBF Worlds, I think I did a like 0.25 to 1 ratio or something. I was something like stupid, and it was like no, genuinely like I literally put like a teeny bit in, mixed it in until it was just edible, and it was the smallest thing ever, mate. So I think I could do if I did a really low volume, like 500 grams or more. Is that too less? Is that too low? Is that too low?
Your appetite.
No, actually, no. Sorry.
I think that's too high, man.
No, I was thinking of like me doing it in normal volume. I would say like a kilo. I say a kilo.
A kilo?
Now listen, a kilo.
800 grams of carbs.
Okay, a kilo, but in the volume ratio, you do like a.
Do you want to fuck about and find out?
Yeah, mate. Like, let's say you do a 0.5 to 1. That's 500 grams. You can shovel that in.
I don't think you can do cream of rice that low volume though. Are you actually cooking it then?
What do you mean?
Like you're adding the water. Are you microwaving it?
No microwave. Just like boiling hot water.
But that like erodes instantly. It just turns to like. Nah, I don't think you can do.
No, it wouldn't be nice. It would literally be like cement. But
do you think you need to microwave cream of rice? Yeah, I'm going to need a cream of rice tutorial because
you don't need to.
You can do it with boiling water. You can do it with boiling water.
I'm going to need a cream of rice tutorial off of someone that I actually trust because when I'm going to be getting cream of rice from my off season, I think someone's I think it's getting bought for my birthday.
You don't even like it. You actually don't even like it. You just no. You want to like it, but you don't like it.
I want to try different foods, but the Stromgate thing is making me scared.
Okay, once you don't like it, I'll take it off you because actually, how I got into cream and rice is because this guy gave me a free bag of cream and rice.
It was literally a full. I literally had like 2 servings.
It was a full bag. Yeah, full bag. Yeah.
What about this food channel, Lewis? Will you post your cream of rice reviews on it?
Oh yeah, me and
what's it going to be called?
Me and Ellie, Lewis and Ellie mukbang.
Are you going to start it?
Shame, mate.
I can replace Ellie when we're in Italy if you want to start it early.
How much pasta do you reckon you could eat? I reckon I'd be in the kilo at least. Like raw weight pasta, a kilo, I think.
No fucking way.
Bro,
No,
on.
No, mate.
okay.
Off season,
That is not possible.
off season. I
Mate.
was eating 250 grams of carbs, 250 grams of pasta.
Okay. And how filling was that meal? So fucking filling.
Yes, but like, mate, no, I could do.
Yeah, you cannot eat.
pasta.
You cannot eat what
four times that.
4 times that.
Yeah, I
No
think
way.
oh,
No way.
give me half an hour and I can do that.
The most voluminous thing I've ever done was like 160 grams oats in one meal, or I've done 700 potato in one meal, I think, and that fucked me. You know, I can't. People don't realize like how.
Yeah,
Just stick with your sushi rice and do fucking honey and
Yeah.
dates with it instead of just plowing that up to 200 grams.
that's the best feeling in bodybuilding. Feeling fucking empty, like having that tight fucking vacuum, having
Mate,
your
I
feeling
really
like
enjoy
a
being
shark.
hungry. Genuinely, like see, since I was a kid, that's why I was so skinny, because I actually just my normal was like being hungry. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
yeah.
I just lived
I
being
relate
hungry.
to that.
Like,
That's going back to someone said earlier. It's like, you know, when you're in a certain phase, you always look at the opposite phase and be like, that's going to be awesome. It's like, yeah, I mean, I miss having a vacuum touching my lower back right now, and like just, you know, being able to blow out all my air and feel each individual ab, and like in between
Yeah.
each ab. But then again, in that phase, I would look at my meal plan right now and be like 125 cream of rice. Are you kidding me? Talk dirty.
You do need to take the positives with each of them, because right now I'm like, how the fuck have I ever struggled with appetite? Like, but obviously, like I'm excited to get to gaining and stuff like that, just from like mostly from like a training standpoint, to be honest. But I definitely will miss like getting up in the morning and looking at my quads and thinking, what the fuck is this? I've got like a roadmap on my fucking quads here.
I thought you were going to say like an absolute rod on or something. But
I mean, I get that. I've had that more in prep than I do in the off season.
that's
body
crazy.
is firing, responsive, ready to grow. That's what
I
are you gonna get your bloods?
actually do feel ready to grow.
Are you gonna get your bloods?
To be honest, mate, I don't really want to spend 200 odd quid doing it.
Man, it's expensive, isn't it?
Like,
There's
to be
blood
honest,
working.
like, see if I felt like I was gonna see, like, if I felt like there was something worth really looking at, like,
Yeah.
urgently. Whereas, to be honest, mate, like, my sex drive is still decent, like, not as good as it was off season. A lot of things that, like, my sleep is still like pretty fucking good, not taking hit. Like, I'm not getting up to piss every single night. It's maybe like once every 3 nights and stuff like that. So sleep isn't taking a massive disruption. So I honestly don't think Tess is in the bin. Like,
Brandon, did you find any like sort of markers that you were a bit like, I could improve on that when you pulled your bloods?
Literally everything was in the green but my test.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
The only
which
thing
is
I
good.
found was I was like way over on my vitamin D score, so I just pulled down my supplementation.
Interesting. Well, how much was supplementation?
I was taking 2 servings of my vitamin D, so I think it was 8,000 IU.
yeah.
And
overdosing.
yeah, I
on
felt
fucking vitamin
fucking
D.
great. See, when I was like getting into fitness and whatever, and started supplementing with vitamin D, I thought it was the biggest life hack ever, because I had like unlocked a new level of energy. I don't know why, or if it was placebo, but it didn't feel like placebo. It felt like I could run for days. So I just always kept it high. And then I said, 8,000 IU is definitely getting absorbed pretty well. Let's pull that down.
Yeah, save your money as well when it comes to that as well. You're not actually like churning through supplements twice as fast.
Listen, supplements add up, mate. Supplements add up.
Yeah,
When
dropped 240 quid on engineered yesterday.
I was actually, see if I was going to intro the podcast, I was going to intro it by wannabe engineered muscle sponsored athlete. That's what,
Mate,
that's what I was
yeah.
going to label it.
You're gonna be the first natural one.
Mate, I'm not
No,
going to be fucking
mate,
natural for
mate,
long.
No, I actually we take the piss out of you, but like I respect it, because you like their shit and you
Yeah.
speak
Yeah,
about like
no, I
it.
mean,
Like
I think
there's nothing wrong with that.
well
though.
I think
done.
a lot of the natural guys have like sort of clocked on to, you know, engineered running the game. They are, everything
Mate.
they do is like top of the game.
Majority of the supplements I use are engineered now.
But I feel like I you know, it was all the enhanced guys doing it, because they obviously sold the L-carnitine and these sort of things that come in vials, and the naturals were like, oh, we'll stay away from that brand. But I looked at it for what it was and was objective, and was like, fuck, this stuff's the best. So I feel like I sort of, I'm not saying I led the parade, but I jumped on the bandwagon first out of the naturals, or sort of our little group. And now everyone's like,
For sure.
everyone's following. But Riz, I want the sponsorship, bro.
If you're watching, he looked mega the other day, by the way.
Didn't he?
Yeah.
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 Quality physique.
East Anglia, was it? Do you know what I'm noticing with these PCA fucking shows? There's no juniors turn up, bro. Like the last one, the one junior turned up. Then that one, there are no juniors.
It's either an extremely stacked class or no one turns up.
Yeah,
There's
I
no
know.
in
It's just like,
between.
what the fuck? Because I was thinking, why is there no teams? But if there's no fucking juniors, why the hell would there be
Yeah.
teams? But yeah,
Two final topics I want to dive into before we round off. First of one is going to be the enhanced route. So you did mention there that you obviously want to go enhanced. What is the plans with that? And was the plan always to go enhanced?
I'm going to jump for a
And
quick this as well, actually, because
all
I'm
good.
Sweet.
busting.
Do you want to go on, or will I take the
On you go.
floor? Is mine. So I said when I was first getting into this thing of bodybuilding, I was really interested in like the scientific route of it, and that's why I signed up to J3U like straight away. You know, I was earning part-time wage, and I forked that. However much J3U was back then, I forked it out because I want to learn about the drug side of things, PED side of things, and the goal was always prep coaching. I wanted to be a full-time prep coach, and I wanted it to be in the enhanced realm because I think when you can play with PEDs, more variables to change, it's so much more interesting and fulfilling than simply natural coaching. Because what have you got? Cardio and food to diet someone down. Where if you want to change the look on an enhanced guy, you know, do you want to go down the diuretic route? Do you want to pull their test down to lower their aromatization? Do you want to lower their estrogen so they're holding less water? I think that is so interesting, and I am just like mesmerized by that world. So I think it would be not a disservice, isn't the right word, but it would be silly for me not to go down that route. And I know myself, I can be objective, and I know I wouldn't be the best. You know, I wouldn't be taking souls if I go enhanced, because if you're not a great natural, you're probably not going to be great enhanced. But there's always that chance. But it would be, again, just for me, because I love the process. And I think if people actually watch along with my process, they'll see that I love it for what it is rather than the sort of gratification of getting on stage. So again, this ties into it. I know I'm not going to be the best enhanced guy. I'm going to take the health risk to go enhanced, even with not being the best athlete, because that's just what I want to do, and that's what I'd get enjoyment out of. So actually plan prep, which I suggest to every client that mentions a prep to me as well, or hopping on. Prep naturally first. I'll suggest that to anyone, not even clients. I've delayed my prep long enough to bring a decent package to the stage, so I want to prep naturally. Make sure I love it, because I love the process. But you know, if you're hopping on gear just to love the process and not the stage, I also think that could be a slippery slope, because it's like, okay, you've risked your health just for the gym progressions and not taking it to the next level of like a competitive physique. So I'm going to prep naturally first, late 2027 shows, and then my final year as a junior, I would be able to do shows in 2029 before September. So I'm thinking that post-prep phase after the natural season could be the time where we make the switch. But it all depends. Do I absolutely love the natural circuit? Maybe I do. Maybe I love that MBW show. Maybe I love MBFI. Maybe I love WMBF Ireland. And I want to stay in that natural bodybuilding community, because it probably is a bit bigger than and sort of more tight knit than the enhanced community. So we'll see where things take us right now, because from the outside looking in, I think the natural circuit for shows is a lot better than the enhanced side. Because what have you got when you go enhanced? You've got fucking muscle contest shows, you've got some NAF 2 bros shows. PCA are quality, but if you actually want to take your bodybuilding to the full extent when you go enhanced, you have to go 2 bros to get the IFBB Pro card. So it's like you can't compete in the PCA forever, mate.
Yeah, for sure. I think as well, like, you're obviously doing it for the right reasons as well, which is of course good. And it'll be cool to see that transition as well. And that's kind of one thing that I do love about natural bodybuilding, is kind of almost like kind of how niche it is in a sense. Like, you know, it's very common, especially on social media. You know, people always kind of hopping on, etc. And that's kind of almost like the kind of natural progression in a sense. But that's one thing I love about natural bodybuilding. Like, kind of, you know, I definitely did have thoughts about, you know, going enhanced actually, like post show. I did actually heavily consider that. That was a consideration, but I would like to do another season natural before I reconsider that myself. But I think it is pretty exciting, of course. Like, as you kind of mentioned, like, doing it for the right reasons, not just doing it for the process itself. I think that's very important as well. Obviously, you know, your body, your choice, all that jazz. But if you are taking that health risk for like for what, literally for what?
Be
Like,
able to take a plus 1.25 on your leg press every session rather than every other session.
Like I feel like when you're making that decision, to thinking about that decision, you really need to weigh up the positives and negatives, which can also be kind of had discussions, in previous episodes. But when people are hopping on very, very early, they really just are not aware of the negatives or even some of the positives sensitive, but especially the negatives. Like they really are not actually taking that into consideration. The financial side, as we kind of mentioned as well, how expensive blood work is. If you want to do it, as safe as possible, of course, it's not going to be safe. Getting things like your blood work, your health supplements, that's really where, a lot of the cost comes from.
Oh, for sure.
Of course, with getting maybe a more higher level coach in a sense, that might cost a little bit more money a month. And again, that adds up as well. And again, considering competing as an assisted athlete, going to turbo shows how expensive those are.
Yeah.
I've heard of the entry fees for them. It's absolutely, it's absolutely absurd there. So again, just things you need to weigh in when you are looking to do it. Again, as you mentioned, I would highly recommend doing a natural season first, seeing if this is actually for you. Because again, you see it time and time again. People do a natural season and then they don't bodybuild again, because they simply just don't enjoy it. And that is a harsh reality. Like, it's a tough process. It challenges you. You need to see if you're actually capable of doing it as well. I think that's a big one. But the final topic I want to go on, because I've got my cream tea, is one of your recent posts actually in regards to auto-regulating your training. I want to kind of ask you about that because I thought it was very, very interesting. Obviously, last push-up, as you were kind of mentioning, you were a person who was very sort of glued to their program in a sense. They wouldn't deviate from that at all. Do you want to just talk about how you are auto-regulating your training, maybe how you go about that with clients potentially as well, and maybe the benefits that you've seen from this gaining phase?
To be honest, with this gaining phase, a lot of things have changed. I talked about at the start of the podcast, like remaining leaner rather than just getting infinitely fat so I can be infinitely stronger. I've been a lot more conscious with things, and with that, the training side of things have switched up. I ran post diet, maybe 5 or 6 months, ran like a really high frequency approach with upper lower full body sessions. But then I switched back to a 5-day training split, and I sort of not took my foot off the gas with my sort of intent or intensity behind training, but just sort of chilled out with my training and made sure I was enjoying sessions a bit more. And, maybe that meant a touch more volume, a touch more pump work, a touch more higher rep work, and actually looking to feel a muscle rather than just believing that the sensation doesn't mean anything in a session. Because while I don't think it outweighs like a pump or sensation outweighs actual stimulus and mechanical tension, I think we bodybuild, this is what we do every single day, and I think you have to tie it in with quality of life. If you're going in a full body, if me for example, full body sessions, they're not as enjoyable as a pull push only hitting legs. And I think if every single day is literally wrapped around bodybuilding, I might as well fucking enjoy it, especially the training. If I'm spending 3 hours in the gym, I want those 3 hours to be shit that I really enjoy and I'm buzzing to go. So I sort of just changed up the approach to training slightly, and I think it paid fucking dividends with the visual right now. Maybe there's this argument, does different training styles, more pump work, higher rep work, higher volume, does it promote a better look, a rounder look, rather than someone who's just doing 5 rep sets to failure and doing low volume? I don't know, but I think it has worked very well, and that change to training also involved a bit more auto-regulating. And what I said in that caption that you brought up, Brandon, was just slight tweaks to volume, not major changes like pulling a movement out or adding an entire movement into a session, just based on how I'm feeling. But if I do a set and I'm absolutely wiped and I actually don't think I can contract my quads or something to like a good extent, and I don't think that set's going to be quality, I won't do it. If I feel fucking brilliant and I actually felt over recovered, not that that's really a thing, but I had no soreness at all going into a session, I'll bump volume up a little bit. If a set's feeling really good, I'm enjoying my time in the gym, and I'm like, I sort of want to spend a bit more time in the gym, there's an extra set, I might be in a set already, getting a great pump from it, I'll stick in a few partials. Whereas last push up towards the end of it, I was like, why would I do partials? Because that's just creating more fatigue and it's less stimulating than an extra set. I was like, mate, just want to feel good in the fucking gym. If I'm progressing long term with this sort of auto-regulation style, I don't know if regulation is the right word, regulatory style, maybe higher volume approach, I'm happy. And I'm really enjoying it for this push-up, so I don't see it changing before I diet next time around.
I think that's been really cool to see you go from such like it's not like opposite ends of the scales, but almost kind of go back on what you've previously done. And I think that's a very, very, a very, very prominent sign of like a mature athlete, a mature coach. The fact that you're able to go back on what you've, previously believed in and be like, right, you know what, that way worked, but this way may work better. And like you say, like I think when it comes to like auto regulating and stuff like that, it's largely down to how objective and how mature the person that's doing the
Oh,
auto
for sure.
regulating can be. Because like I have auto regulated a good amount for this prep. Like a lot of the times I was running 2 sets on the Cybex leg press, and sometimes I would be like, I'm just absolutely fucked. I'm just going to do the 1 set. But then, say next week going in, I'd be like, right, okay, I'm feeling like doing 2. Probably me not just going like from the get go, deciding right, fuck it, I don't really feel good today. 1 set on everything. Because at the end of the day, that's not going to be productive really for anyone. But I think that's a definite thing to consider, being really, really mature and really objective when it comes to auto-regulating your sessions. But I think that's more so at the kind of the diet end of things when it comes to taking sets away from things rather than actually, adding on. But that's my kind of take on, auto-regulatory work within the kind of a prep setting realistically.
And I know
Yeah,
we
for
want to
sure.
wrap this up soon, but it's like also going back on like what you just said, Lewis. It's like realizing that different things work and maybe at different stages. Like I'll never rule out full body work for myself or clients again. I know that they work, so I can always go back on that. And I also think the auto regulation sort of approach to training, it does come with the level that you can train at. If someone's new to the gym or their coach doesn't think they can take a set to failure or every set in their session to perfect failure with perfect execution, perfect composure, they probably aren't in the place to be auto regulating their volume. I've had clients where they'll pull out sets of stiff legs because they're not feeling it. But every batch of form feedback they send over, I have to send paragraphs on paragraphs. That's not the person that can auto-regulate their training. Whereas if we look, I'll bring him up again, Finley, when he sends me form feedback, he might send me 8 videos and I say green light on all of these. These are perfect. If Finley said to me, I felt absolutely fuckered, and he's not the type to do it, he'll bury himself realistically. He won't pull a set. But if he said, I felt like this, leaving this set here, leaving this session at 1 less set was to the positive, I thought it was going to be better, I would trust him absolutely because I know what he trains like. I know he's mature in the gym and I know it's not him pussying out of doing the hard stuff.
For sure. It is a skill that develops with experience, I think, is a good way to conclude that there.
100%.
So
Yeah, for sure.
thank you very much for the chat, boys. That was a very fast hour, to be honest with you. I think
Yeah.
I would love to get you on again, Jake, because I feel like
Would love to
we
be on
just
again.
dipped our toe in the conversation there. I feel like I could yap on a good another hour easily. But yeah, thank you very much for joining us. That was another episode of Inside the Process. Mr. Jake Byers, thank you very much for coming on. Would you like to plug your socials? Where can people find you?
What actually is my Instagram? Does anyone know? Jake Byers.
__.
You can drop me a follow there. You'll find all my links to podcasts and stuff there, lifestyle loops, faffing over frequency, coaching inquiries, etc., etc. So boys, thank you very much for having me on. Lewis, gonna see you on Thursday. Brandon, see you
Yeah, I can't wait.
2 weeks. 2 weeks time.
2 weeks.
2 weeks time in Rotherham. Mate, I'm looking forward to seeing both of you.
Likewise, mate. Likewise. And if you want to be coached by any of us, head over to the link in our bios and use code Brandon10 at Reject Weakness.
I'll get back to your inquiry quickest. See you later.